has condemned coup in Myanmar. Thousands join fresh Navalny protest across Russia. Somalia Al-Shabaab militants attack Afrique Hotel in Mogadishu. Details of these and more after this break. I am Omoye Ogbeide. Myanmar's military has seized power after detaining civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi and other senior members of her governing party. All authority has been given to the top army commander and a one-year state of emergency has been declared. The coup follows a landslide win by Suu Kyi's party in an election which the army claims was marred by fraud. She urged her supporters to not accept this and protest against the coup. In a letter written in preparation for her impending detention, she said the military's action put the country back under dictatorship. Myanmar, also known as Burma, was ruled by the armed forces until 2011 when democratic reforms spearheaded by Aung San Suu Kyi ended military rule. She spent nearly 15 years in detention between 1999 and 2010. She was internationally hailed as a beacon of democracy and received the Nobel Peace Prize in 1991. Meanwhile, the United Nations and United States of America have condemned the coup in Myanmar and called for a return to constitutional and democratic order in the Southeast Asian country, also called Burma. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken reacted to the development in separate statements on Sunday night. Although both officials did not call it a coup, they urged the military to respect the will of the Burmese people as expressed through the country's November 8, 2020 elections. Guterres and Blinken also called for the release of Myanmar's state councillor and other political and civil society leaders arrested and detained by the military. And thousands of Russians have been taking part in unauthorized protests to demand the release of jailed opposition leader Alexei Navalny. A monitoring group says more than 5,000 people have been detained in Moscow, and Moscow police closed metro stations and blocked off the city center. Navalny was jailed on his return to Russia after recovering from an attempt to kill him with a nerve agent. He blames the security services for the attack, but the Kremlin denies this. Russian authorities say Navalny was supposed to report to police regularly because of a suspended sentence for embezzlement. Navalny has denounced his detention as blatantly illegal, saying the authorities had allowed him to travel to Berlin for treatment for the Novichok poisoning, which happened in Russia last August. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin has denied reports he is the owner of a vast palace on the Black Sea, as alleged by Navalny in a video that has gone viral in Russia and has been watched more than 100 million times. And critics on the east coast of the U.S., including New York and Boston, are bracing up for a 60 centimeter of snow as a major winter storm approaches. Wind gusts up to 80 kilometers per hour are forecast for several days, creating blinding blowing snow. The National Weather Service says snow is expected to begin late Sunday night in parts of Pennsylvania, New York State, and New England. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio has declared a state of emergency and announced on Twitter that the winter storm will be dangerous with heavy snowfall and strong winds. Schools will be closed and coronavirus vaccinations rescheduled. About 3/4 of flights into JFK has been cancelled. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy has also declared a state of emergency, giving authorities the ability to shut roads and evacuate homes. He also suspended all public transport throughout the state on Monday. And the European Union says United Kingdom Swedish drug firm AstraZeneca will now supply an additional 9 million COVID vaccine doses by March after days of criticism of the bloc's vaccination program. Commissioner President Ursula von der Leyen said it was a step forward, but the 40 million doses now expected are still only about half of what had been hoped amid continuing supply problems. The Commission has been involved in a much criticized row between both the UK and AstraZeneca this week. In particular, it was condemned over its threats to put checks on the Northern Ireland border to prevent vaccines produced in the EU from reaching the UK. The border was one of the most difficult problems to overcome in the recently agreed Brexit deal following the UK's departure from the EU. The EU was angry that Britain was getting its UK-made contracted supplies from AstraZeneca while it suffered a shortfall. So the bloc announced it was introducing export controls on coronavirus vaccines made inside the EU to try to protect its supplies. The Brexit deal ensures that there are no obstacles to trade between the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. A gun battle between militant Islamists and Somali security forces at a hotel in the capital Mogadishu is now over. At least 5 people were killed in the attack at the Afrique Hotel, which began with a car bomb on Sunday. Al-Shabaab said it was responsible. The group, which is linked to Al-Qaeda, regularly carries out attacks against the government. At least 4 attackers also died, as 3 were shot and 1 blew himself up. The Prime Minister Mohamed Hussein Rabbah, in a statement, said among those killed was a former military general, Mohamed Noor Galal. The militants targeted the Afrique Hotel despite the fact that it is in a heavily guarded area near the city's main airport. The hotel is known to be a gathering place for Somali government officials. A local police captain said a number of lawmakers and senior military officials were inside at the time of the attack. The violent siege comes just weeks after former U.S. President Donald Trump ordered the withdrawal of some 700 troops which had been supporting local security forces against militant groups, including Al-Shabaab. There are fears the withdrawal could lead to further instability in the country, which is due to hold elections next month. And that's KUFM's news around the world, but before we go, a quick recap of the headlines. UN US condemned coup in Myanmar. Thousands joined fresh Navalny protest across Russia. Somalia Al-Shabaab militants attack Afrique Hotel in Mogadishu. Do remember that the continued unity of Nigeria is a collective responsibility. Be sure to play your part. Do not forget you can listen to us anywhere in the world by visiting our website at www.kufm.net or download our mobile app from the Google Play Store. We are also on YouTube at KUFM Nigeria. KUFM's news around the world was produced by Labadum Asagwaram. I am Omoyo Gbede saying thanks for listening.